this club's not just for some. All friends, one family, together we are one.
Welcome to draw number 3 for April 2021 of the 500 Club. Thanks very much to Conor Barry, Fun Harps first team player, who's going to draw out the numbers for us this week. And Conor, you there. Open it up and pull me out a number, please. Anything at all, and it's number 110, and it's a blue number. So that belongs to Morris Murray from Dromahal, County and Manor Cunningham. And we have another wee one more. That's €300 from Morris. Now for €100, is number 92, and it's also blue. And that belongs to Mark Dorian from Letterkenny. And one more for also €100.
Number 13.
Number 13, which is Aidan and Lindsay McNeilis from Galway. Again, you're pulling it all in, man. Very good. Thank you very much, Conor. Thanks again to all the members of the 500 Club.
Well,
hello.
Welcome back.
Yeah, again.
Us again.
Yeah. What's the crack?
I don't know. Is everyone sick of us by now?
Maybe.
Sure.
Some product placement. Oh shit.
Yes. Thank you, Kinniger.
We're all
Kinniger.
wearing the shirts. I mean, you can't really have more than that. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Ethan.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you. This we are
And the
brought to you
flag.
by
Don't forget the flag.
Kinniger. Yeah,
There's a
you can just
flag.
read that. Yeah, thanks to Kinniger for giving us t-shirts, glasses, and beer.
Some of us.
Big contribution to the club. Oh well, Ben, you were offered.
I was offered, to be fair. Yeah.
Yes. No, thanks to Kinniger for the sponsorship. It's class to see a local brewery get behind us. You know, if you were picking your ideal sponsor for at least myself and Ethan, if we were picking our ideal sponsor, it would have been Kinniger. So
Yeah,
can't really
tell
go
you
wrong.
what.
There you go.
Yeah, no, definitely great perks.
So this week,
yeah,
we had
So football.
Yeah,
football. Yeah.
Run in order, Nigel.
yes, this week coming up, we have highlights from not one but 2 games. We have Sligo and Longford. Everyone is dying to see this.
God, it's like no, 1 but 2 games.
I
Yeah.
looked at Ethan and I thought he was going to joke.
You're just missing it, but wait, there's more. We had Classic Harps. Bartley's
Bartley
back.
Corner.
Bartley Corner is back.
With who? Please
with
tell us.
Shaun McGowan. Shaun
Oh,
McGowan
was he?
plays Harps. Was he? He's yeah, good crack with Wizzy. It's another great interview. This one will be even more younger Harps fans will even catch this one because you know he only finished up playing with us 6 or 7 years ago. So that's a good one to look out for. The academy is returning finally after a long wait. The academy returns on the 26th of this month after a layoff since Christmas, since they last trained, and you know there's bits and bobs being done over Zoom and one thing or another, but the lads will be delighted to finally out in the pitch again at the end of the month. And finally then we're previewing the St. Pat's game this weekend. So there you go.
Yeah,
Yep. Good stuff.
roll clip, sir.
Yeah.
Which
well,
one?
look, we'll go with Sligo. That was
Sligo.
first.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Ethan, video.
All about interpretation from referees.
Well, you can try and figure them out, John, because I couldn't for years. So
Heavy touch. Lets down Robbie McCourt. Here's Foley. Overlapping is Russell. And when he gets it on target, Jury. Boyle. Didn't look up when he hit that. Buckley. Plants it long. It's a nice take. And is it the opening goal? Oh, very nearly. Great effort from Romeo Parks. And immediately remonstrated with his men saying that they're not giving him a lot of options. Here's Gibson, socks around his ankles as he has been since early in this game. It's good stuff from Gibson. Skips away from Coyle. He's got Kenny outside of him. Can he pick him out? Yes, he can. Here's the goal scorer. Can he make it 2? Oh, straight across the goal and behind Parks. You can hear in the background is Paul Hegarty, the assistant manager at Finn Harps, screaming at his players to get out. Here's Kenny. Figuera. Seymour's well read by Bulger. Into Figuera. Kenny's on the penalty spot. Figuera goes for goal. Well, it's a good stop in the end. He was diving away to his left-hand side. Goalkeeper McGinley got his feet to it. Figuera. Little step over Figuera. Overlapping is McCourt. Oh, how did that stay out?
Another good save, John. That's what I'm saying. You know, the goalkeeper world is crazy. You know.
They're giving it to Finn Harps. Now is the break on here. Folan's ball. Boyd is in the penalty area for Finn Harps. McNamee is making himself available in towards Boyd. That's good defending.
It's great defending.
McCourt.
Well, we lost the game.
Aye.
We're not the Invincibles, and that's okay. And I'll tell you why.
Please do. Please do.
Because bar that one team, every other team that won the league has also lost the game before.
Okay.
So there you go. Look, it had to happen. I think Mark Coyle said afterwards, we weren't going to go the season unbeaten, and it's about kind of how we react and learn from it. It was a kind of close enough, scrappy game. Really, it was obviously the one mistake that kind of let Sligo win for Johnny Kenny's first professional goal. For Bidden.
Yeah. Look, that's sort of the measure of the game for me. Is if you're taking a positive out of it, is that we didn't play well. You know, there's no bones about it. Players will admit it. Staff will admit it. We didn't play well, but we still. The only difference between us and a side that is effectively pushing for the top 3 again this year was, you know, a very, very, very rare mistake from Mark McGinley. Like, and you know,
Who was excellent afterwards.
He was absolutely excellent. He made 3 or 4 class saves during that game. You know, you have to hand it to him. He bounced back very well from it. And you know, young Johnny Kenny there, you know, he done an Adam Foley on it, if you like. You know, we done the same to Dundalk at the start of the year.
Yeah,
You know.
even against Bowes, we kind of, you know, it wasn't the keeper, but we managed to capitalize on a defensive mistake. So these things, you know, while you hate to see them, it's swings and roundabouts. You know, they kind of balance themselves out in the end too. You know, you profit off a couple, inevitably a couple are going to happen at your own end, and that's just the kind of way these things go. But I think, like Nigel said, that was the only difference in the game. We could easily have niched a draw and nicked a draw there at the end. Sean Boyd was in, but for some outrageous defending by Niall Moran, I'm not sure. But either way, it was fantastic, and that kind of stopped us equalising there. So all in all, plenty to kind of take from it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Well, we quickly.
We also
back
played
then.
yesterday.
We played on Tuesday night there. We were bouncing back very quickly to Longford, and this is how that went.
Ollie Horgan remains on the sideline, keeping as close an eye as possible. McNamee sends one down the line, and the cross comes in, and it's Boyd's header up front. Finn Harps tonight. This one is aimed towards Verdon. Flick on header, can't find a teammate. But it's Manley working hard here, trying to get around Stephen Folan. And Folan using all his upper body strength to hold off the challenge, and it's McNamee with a lovely back heel, and it's Coyle into open space, and this time he finds Boyd, and Boyd will let fly. But the defender will... And it comes, hint of a handball from Seymour, gets away with it. Ethan Boyle didn't like the option in front of him. Long ball again. O'Driscoll is there to cover it. Boyd finds McNamee, tries to go around. Boyd gets it back and forces the save from the keeper. And Tony McNamee can't find the back of the Harps. O'Driscoll tidies up. Plays it as far as Rob Manley. Harps lose it again, and it's McNamee to Tony McNamee. Skips by the challenge. Tries to give and go. Ethan Boyle is around the outside, and Ethan Boyle.
There you go. That's one for the purists. I, I think one of the kind of main things for me from even last night was that you're kind of going away from an away game in the Premier Division, and you're frustrated that you didn't win. And I'm not frustrated in a almost like a biased way that you think Harps would win every game because you love Harps. There were kind of a few good chances there that just didn't fall for us, didn't go in, and the other team didn't really offer a lot. So again, there's positives. Like, they obviously would have rather 3 points. Be feeling maybe a bit better about it coming back up the road, but Drogheda and Longford even never looked like scoring, and it was unlucky that we really didn't put one away.
Yeah, well, look, Mark McGinley didn't have a save to make all night.
Yeah.
But
I think he took a couple of corners or kind of long balls over, and that's about it.
Yeah, he had a couple of good high catches. He had a couple of very tidy punches away from dangerous balls in. But other than that, he had very little to do. And our defense marshalled that there perfectly.
Even after Shane McElhaney.
Done away with the threat of Verdon and Manley and these lads and Dobbs. They're dangerous enough strikers. And on a very, very tricky pitch, we managed to do very well against them. The ball was bobbling very badly at times. It was bouncing very unnaturally at times. It was sticking at times. It was very, very strange what was going on there. Like, the pitch looked amazing. You got into the ground, you seen it looked really nicely rolled. It was very green, and even from a height, in the big main stand there, it looked great, but it didn't play well at all. And I think the players kind of took note of that themselves, and they kind of had to start launching the ball a bit higher again. They kind of had to revert to long balls at times, and it just didn't suit us the way we were going there. That you wanted to be getting your midfielders on the ball, but look, you're going to come up against them sort of pitches in the League of Ireland, and it's not an excuse. At the end of the day, we had 6 or 7 good chances that we could have taken a goal, but you'll get them games. That's just one of them games. It's one of them frustrating games, and we've been frustrated in Longford before, and we'll get frustrated there again.
Yeah, it's a long season, and you're going to have games where like we nicked the win at the end against Waterford, and that was great. And then they're going to have games where we really could have done it last night too and just didn't. And that's just the kind of way football goes, It was great to see Sean Boyd, getting his first start back and, doing really well. He was a kind of good target man up front, won a lot of the balls. He was knocking them down for Barry, was unlucky and maybe kind of showing his lack of maybe match sharpness. He didn't put one or two of the chances away, but that'll come as well,
Yeah. No, it'll come with time. Even you see it there. Sean had plenty of chances. One of them. He only just needs one of them to click. Once you can see it in him that he's so determined to get that goal. He's so determined to get on the ball. Likewise, then Ryan Shanley came on the pitch, and he was dying. He was jumping into everything. He was getting into everything. He took a couple of pot shots himself. He's just waiting for that first goal, that first breakthrough. You could see it with, even in Sligo and against Waterford that, Tunde Olabi come on and was the same. They're just, these guys are dying for their first goal, and it will click for them. It will come for them. I think frustration is one of the worst things you can have as a striker.
Yeah.
And, anywhere in the pitch, frustration it's a very tough thing to overcome as a footballer, but they'll get there.
I think even more so as a striker because you don't have the ball all the time, and when you get it, you're under pressure immediately, and you almost kind of snatch at things and want to make things happen right away, and it's hard to kind of settle yourself. But like you said, that'll come. And I think also mentioned Stephen Folan, who has played every game, but come on as a sub for me the last 5 minutes, and was called in 15 minutes into last night and was fantastic alongside Coss. He dealt with everything. There was no rust on Stephen. In fairness to him, he was ready to go.
Yep. It's worth mentioning on the striker that, you shouldn't. I know it's kind of a saying to do, but you shouldn't judge a striker by goals alone. Sean Boyd was excellent yesterday, and if he can be a target man and bring others into play, and if he can bring Barry in and Barry scores, then there you go. You don't need him to score just him. It's just his what he brings to the team, his input in it, and he did well on the night, as you said. Stephen Follen, fair play again. Stephen Doherty comes in, and for little appearances, another academy graduate, if you will. So good to see that as well.
Yeah, it's nice to see Stephen get his game there. I think Mark Coyle has been held up as the probably
The
the
poster
brightest,
boy, yeah.
the poster boy. So, the brightest academy graduate we've had.
The Bird Cante, N'Golo Coilo.
Yeah. He's been phenomenal for us this year. But then we have Stephen Doherty, the likes of Stephen there kicking at his heels. He's
Definitely.
he's a young lad that he still has a lot to prove. Experience will come to him as well, and it's great to see these lads coming through. It's great to see it's good for the other lads in the squad, the likes of the Jamie Browns and
Niall
your
McGinley's and
your Niall McGinley's. Obviously Niall's another academy graduate who's had plenty of first team experience by now. But these lads, even further down, 19s, 17s, 15s, whatever, they've something to look at and say, that's there for me if I want it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, definitely. And kind of, it's good to see maybe Stevie get a bit more time, especially because we're missing maybe a bit of creativity off the bench with the likes of, Timland, unavailable at the minute, Ryan Connolly, Connor Barry, all, on the sideline. If you think we haven't scored the last couple of games, they're three fantastically creative players with the ball that we haven't been able to bring on. And, if we're chasing a game, we're looking to get a goal.
Yeah.
So it would be great to see Stevie maybe step up on that front as well.
Yeah, just a note on that, and previously what you said, about Shanley and Tondi and all them, like the depth we've got in the squad now is probably something we didn't have in the last few years. You can tell me, but definitely from the last few years, I remember, to replace Adam Foley, who got injured at Sligo, with someone like Ryan Shanley or Sean Boyd or Tondi Olabi is already like you've got quality on the bench as well as on the pitch. Same with Stephen Follen to come in and just take over from McAlady easily, or you know what I mean, like nothing happened. It's a really big one.
Yeah, well, Tony McNamee said it to us in the interview afterwards as well. That there's the squad of 25, 26 players, and they're all going to be needed as the season goes on, and especially now with a couple of lads carrying knocks, as you said, the likes of Connolly and Barry and Timlin, and that is missing in midfield. It gives other lads a chance. And now, as we've seen the other night, Shane McElhinney picked up a knock, and Stephen Follen went in and was immense at the centre. But we know what he's capable of already. It gives these lads a chance to stake a place in the starting 11. It's going to be hard for some other lads coming back in there from injury. So
definitely.
Yeah, I think even just to kind of echo that, I think Mark McGinley was talking to Donegal Daily yesterday, and one of the quotes from it was that this is probably one of the best squads Harps have assembled. Just because to a man, if you go through the 25-26, there's so much strength and depth there that I kind of don't even envy Ollie and Higgsy picking the team. Sometimes it'd be where do you begin? Even if we're chatting before a game, we're like, who'd you go with tonight?
Yeah.
And the vary in an opinion, and I think it should be this person, and oh well, this is my team, and you list out 14 players by accident. Do you know what I mean? It's a nice kind of difficulty to have, but definitely
it's a nice problem to have. Yeah.
With the there'll be a few more midweek games coming up, especially like even the following weekend we have Shamrock Rovers on the Friday and Derry away on the Monday, and again that's more time for rotation, but also opportunities for other lads, which is great.
Yeah, so
that's both for big games. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on, we have more Bartley Corner. Yes, Bartley's back, and he has in the Bartley Corner this week we have Shaun McGowan. So a bit more Classic Harps. There's another lad that'll be delighted to be referred to as Classic Harps is Shaun, who's not a whole lot older than some of the lads in the squad.
Yeah, it's just you saying we have Shaun in the Bartley Corner sounds, I don't know, like where you go in a nightclub to do a bit of curtain or something.
I'll leave that one to Bartley.
Yeah, we should just roll it. I'll stop talking.
Yeah. So this is this.
Right, tonight I'm joined with a man who we could honestly say has Finn Harps Football Club running through his DNA, seeing as he's also the son of former player, manager, coach, you name it. His father has done it all, but Shaun himself managed to make 225 appearances for Harps. Mind you, he only scored 9 goals in that time. Joined Harps in the underage scene, made it into the first team around 2003, 2004, and then cemented his place. Disappeared for a year towards the end of that decade, and then came back and had 2 more good years with Harps in 2012, 2013. It's great to have you on tonight, Shaun.
Cheers, Bartley. Good to be here.
I know, looking forward to this. As I say, Finn Harps is in your DNA. I mean, you grew up with the club just being on your doorstep. I don't suppose you ever had any chance that, that anything other than Finn Harps was going to be your destiny.
No, that's for sure. I think from day one, my granddad would have been in Finn Park, for the very first Finn Harps game against Shamrock Rovers, and my father was way mad at it, and from then on, I would say the whole way through at Finn Park, there's always been a McGowan there somewhere along the way, whether it be involved some way, scolding about something or other.
Who would have been your early heroes at Harps? Who would you have seen playing for Harps and thought, oh, I'd love to be like him? Or was there anybody in particular you would have looked at? Or are we kind of going to start talking about Leeds United a little bit? Because I know that's your other footballing interest,
No, I suppose I've been fairly lucky too that I've played under both. I remember coming up through. I suppose the way that I played football myself, like I would have been a midfielding, the kind of workhorse at it and trying to put your authority in the game. But probably the likes of Higgsy, Barney Lafferty, Pierce Walsh, people like that, that I suppose they were playing in the positions that I wanted to play in, and that just the way that they got the respect, and they went out and they bossed the pitch, and they took no prisoners on the field, and I like that style of play. And obviously Speaky, banging in goals, that came later on, and that what a player Speaky was there. But no, probably Higgsy, but then Higgsy went to Derry, and maybe Pierce Walsh came in then, and you had the great side, that won the league, Morris Toland and boys like that. 96, I think it was.
I was 96, aye.
Yeah, there was some great players in that. You listen to your interview with Quiggy, boys like that come in. There was great characters in it. My father would have been involved in it at the time, and I would have been in and around the training, gathering footballs and stuff like that, and great memories of that time as well.
At what stage did you actually think, I have a good chance here of getting into the first team?
It's probably a funny one, because that changed. I was a right winger when I signed for Harps, believe it or not, knowing the bit of pace that I have. But no, I come in, I probably based my game then in midfield. I had a great run that year with the 21s. I suppose I started falling out, and I was in the soccer academy under Gavin Dykes over in Sligo, and it brought my game on a lot. I didn't really, I made big strides, I suppose, towards the first team in 2003, and Kinger came in, as you say, and he gave us a chance, and we played that game against Bowes, and he brought me into the panel the following week against Home Farm, and I didn't make the bench. But then with Kilkenny, I think the league was more or less gone that night. If you remember, Thursday night up on Home Farm, and the following week we Kilkenny at home, and his intentions was Kilkenny were struggling. He was hoping that maybe we'd go 2 or 3 up, and he would give me the last 10 minutes, but we were holding on to a 1-0 lead, so I didn't make my debut to the following week then down in Cove.
That's right. He sent down practically an under-21s team, didn't he? Because he's saving the first team for the playoffs.
That's right. We went down. I think I think we got a draw down in Cove, and it was their first team. So it was a long trip, and I'm sure the first team weren't too disappointed they didn't have to make the trip down to Cove.
You spent a year under Anthony in the First Division in 2006. Before we came to a huge milestone in your career in 2007 when you actually scored your first goal for Finn Harps.
It took me a while. What do I have played? I'm right back. I must have played the whole way to right back to the end, was it? No, I suppose I was never too prolific as a goal scorer.
No, as I was saying at the start of it, you'd only scored 9 goals in 225 appearances, and I was quite surprised myself when I was looking it up for the interview, But yeah, you have to tell us about it. Like, it was against Glasgow Celtic of all people.
That's my claim to fame for now. No, it was a long time coming. There were a lot of people waiting on that, I always told Anne Kelly, who travelling buses, she always says, whatever time you get your first goal, she says, I want a kiss coming off the pitch. So she was standing at the gates of Finn Park when I was coming off at half time that night. I don't know if she was relieved or scared.
I think she might have thought it was never going to happen, to be honest with you.
I might have been hoping.
Just talking on the supporters' buses, there were some characters that travelled on them down through the years as well.
They're great trips, always a full bus in them times as well. Ronan Floyd would have been on it, and myself and Chrissy Breen would have been on them taking days off schools. And you had O'Neill's, like they weren't the bus left Balbafay going in, or that Dennis and Kathleen weren't on. There were sponsors there at Harps for a few years, and they're a great family. Like the whole family's involved in there, and they don't miss, And I call into Kathleen there every so often to get a catch up, and she's not lost none of her passion anyway for Finn Harps, and
I'm sure
she loves a good scold about it.
It wouldn't be possible for Kathleen. I mean, Dennis and Kathleen, some of my best memories of the away trips would be sitting in front of them, and they'd be cribbing the whole match about some player, even say yourself, for example, cribbing about you the whole match, and the next thing you'd score a last-minute winner. Oh, best player in the world, that boy's a brilliant player. But I remember like Dennis, it's kind of, he was one of the mainstays, and he would always be at the away matches. And it's just so sad, to think that, he's gone. But as you say, the whole family still go to the games.
He had a great passion, and I suppose that's the thing that made it a bit different for me from being from Balbafay. I remember, if you went out after a match and you ran into someone in a pub, but remember, if you had a bad game on a Saturday night and you were at Mass on a Sunday morning, you didn't want to see Dennis because you knew you were going to get a touch, somewhere. You'd have been avoiding eye contact coming down the aisle from Holy Communion.
That was great. It was great. Just to hear Shaun talk about Dennis, obviously the major.
Massive. Like I said, just like Shaun, obviously I ran buses for got to 10 years there for the supporters, and the loss that was felt whenever he passed was just it was felt rippled, not even through Finn Harps, that rippled through the League of Ireland, because there wasn't a ground in the country that he wasn't known in. And Kathleen as well, who, the two of them were arm in arm everywhere they went. And, obviously now, well, up until COVID hit, we played the Dennis O'Neill Memorial Cup in Finn Park every year. And, it's just a small but fitting tribute to a man who, the very first supporters game we played there a handful of years ago, he was right up there, watching and
giving abuse,
giving abuse even to the supporters that were on the pitch. It was the loss is still felt, these days, and every player knew him, and and obviously Shaun speaks about him very highly because Shaun was a young fellow that grew up around Harps. His father's a Harps legend as well. That. He travelled all the buses with Dennis over the years, and and all the Balfays Northern Supporters Club, obviously largely dwindled in numbers over the years, but the presence that was made by as I said, the likes of Anne Kelly, the Birminghams, the O'Neills, that they put their heart and soul into the club for years, and it's nice of them to acknowledge that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned even that the first fans game, because one of my, never mind his playing days, to my current abiding memory of Shaun is turning up to the fans game in full 3-piece suit and tie, the whole kit and caboodle, and turn what do you think this is? He's like, oh, I'm after nipping out of a wedding there. I've only had 2 bottles. I'll be all right. And if that's not a wee kind of glimpse into that man, then I don't know what is.
Oh, this is it. Well, he'd do anything for a game of football. He bleeds football. And a proper houseman. That the minute he was called, do you want to play in this? It wasn't a case of I'll see if I'm free. It's just I will be there. It's And it's
if he's leaving to leave a wedding in Derry to come down, then obviously he's he didn't need much kind of convincing.
Yeah. But anyway, as I said, you see it in there. The full interview will be on YouTube along with the rest of Bartley's stuff. You can catch up on all of that there on the Finn Harps YouTube, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Yes, so big news,
Like
big
sound
news,
effects.
delighted news. The academy returning. All the teams there that have been itching to get back into action since December, the last time they had a training session. Obviously even the new players that have come in haven't trained with their teammates, and they've been around Zoom calls and whatever for the last couple of months. Ben will know better than me about this, being heavily involved with the underage sides, but some of these lads, they're great characters around there, the great characters, the coaches as well. Every one of them are delighted to be getting back, and they're returning on the 26th. So
yeah, is this where I talk?
This is where you talk.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, so we're allowed to return from the 26th. It will be on that week, hopefully. Until we actually, get to the pitch and kick a ball, nothing's certain these days. But yeah, the things we've done through the lockdown over Zoom and online classes and whatever it is, I mean, was kind of a big effort from coaches and players and parents and everyone we got involved to do it. And it's, you have to kind of give it to the players as well as the coaches to kind of stay interested and in touch with it and committed to it, because it would have been very easy to kind of drop it at the time, because we haven't played football in, as you said, Nigel, I think it was December before December for 16th, but National League were out in December.
Well, look, we'll roll a bit of footage here if you like. Myself and Ben were down doing a bit of video work at the academy training at the Letterkenny Community Centre. It was the start of December, I do believe. So it's been nearly 5 months since these lads have trained, and here's a little reel of what they were at that day anyway.
Starting out your football career, if you will, there was no pathway, there was no academy. What are the differences between players coming up now here to when you came up?
Well, I suppose that's the beauty. The beauty, I suppose, of the national leagues in general is that you have so many elite players at your club that you get to train, get your hands on 2 or 3 times a week and play competitive games throughout the season. But I suppose the main difference when I arrived at Finn Harps, it was just a Ulster Senior League team, reserves. There was nothing down below that. So basically, if you weren't put up at a certain age, then maybe you've missed the boat. So now there's a wider net being spread the whole way through the county, and players that want to evolve and push on, then they come into our setup. And we've got the means and the tools and the coaches to try and push them on. So hopefully that will help. The National Leagues is a damn good standard for any kid to come and play in. You're playing against the best players throughout the whole country, week in, week out. So that's a massive plus. I've been involved in the schoolboys, and so I've seen it from both sides. Having them once a week, and then going to this year set up here, having them 2 or 3 times a week in the competitive game every single week, it makes a huge difference, and we can see the progression in players already. So having this here, a controlled environment where we can set the ethos and the whole structure for the club, makes a huge difference, Ben.
A very, very high standard here as well, so you kind of demand that standard from them, even from that young age.
Absolutely, you have to set an environment that's healthy for them. You have to set a culture, an environment that they can grow in, that they can enjoy their football in, because it's important that they hold on to that belief that initially you play football because you love it and you enjoy it and you like the fun aspect of it. As you get older and you grow, it becomes a wee bit more serious, and there's a wee bit maybe more at stake for you. But it's important that there's a good environment, that we need to look after players in terms of their football, but we need to look after them pastorally as well, and make sure that we're not only developing good players but developing good people as well.
That's the lads were, as I said, myself and Ben were down. We caught that bit of footage, and it'll be good to see them back. Obviously, in a bit better weather than what we had that night. Obviously,
Yeah.
So I think that as Ben's young fella now has added to his vocabulary, we were founder that night.
That's it. Yeah, it's that night was a great night as well. But yeah, we're looking to come back at Kilgordon, and we haven't been in Kilgordon for absolute ages now. So it'll be very good to come back. Doing what we can with these new boys, as you said, to bring them into the fold and meet their actual teammates for the first time in real life. Some of them. So it'd be a weird one for them, I'm sure. But yeah, we're all looking forward to come back and get on the pitch again.
Yeah, well, look at Kevin and all his teams they're obviously all itching to get back, and we'll do our best to bring some bits and pieces of footage and interviews and what we can get from the academy as we go through the year as well. Who knows, you might possibly be able to live stream a game or something from Finn Park at some stage.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what we'll be able to do. We'll be able to figure out something anyway along as we go, as we do in true FHTV fashion. We just make it up as we go along.
Yeah, and we'll never change.
Yeah.
So don't get ideas.
So, what's this weekend?
Speaking of making up as we go along,
Pats?
We have a game.
Yes.
The kind of game's coming thick and fast now, which is great. It's busy when it comes to making, doing programs and that kind of thing, but it's also fantastic just to have Harps playing games. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's all about. And Pats will come up. They've been very, very good to start the season. They've draws with Shamrock Rovers and Dundalk, and they've beaten everyone else they've played. They're kind of flying high, and they'll be really looking to kind of add to that and stay unbeaten and hopefully tack on another 3 points. But I think what we've seen so far this year is that anyone can kind of beat anyone. Seems to be the thing. Even the teams you'd expect to be up near the top of the league haven't maybe kicked into gear. Some of them yet. The likes of maybe Bows and Dundalk, they haven't kind of found their feet yet. So really, there's kind of a chance there for us. We'll not be afraid of any team. Especially at Finn Park with the team we have, and obviously Ollie and Higgsy will be telling them, what they think and whether the game plan. But it'll definitely be a tough one.
Yeah. No, well, look, obviously conscious of time dragging on and us going on for like an hour and a half long show here, but to try and keep it somewhat brief, we kind of know the Pats are one of the top teams in the league. We know that they have some, league winning players there. They signed a lot of good experience from Dundalk this year. They have the obvious quality in the likes of Christy Forrester, Robbie Benson. These lads, they're top players. They're very dangerous players, very tricky, very good footballers. They'll be a good footballing team. Stephen O'Donnell will have them playing good football. They have a good young, highly rated keeper there on loan from Liverpool, and your man Yaros. How they adjust to Finn Park is another one. How they'll like the cold, damp changing rooms in Finn Park. The long journey up from Dublin for them lads. It's all mitigating factors and how they perform on the night. Our lads will be good, comfortable, rested. To be itching to go after two games without a win. To correct that, look.
Yeah, and even one thing, I guess, in a couple of injuries now they've hammered home, I suppose, is that we know the players in the squad want to make Finn Park a bit more of a fortress this year, and kind of make it somewhere that's, unpleasant to go, hard to go, even without the fans in the stands that make it, they bring that atmosphere. The players still want it to be a tough place to come and somewhere other teams hate coming. So it'll definitely be kind of out to prove a point.
Yeah, well, the fact we've started with 2 wins out of 2 there kind of helps as well. That you want to build on that, and it's not to say maybe a draw against someone like Pats wouldn't be a terrible result. That's a team that want to win the league this year, Pats. But sure, so do we. So
Dead right. So do we. There you go. This is a title 6-pointer.
Title 6-pointer. If you want to call it a title 6-pointer, I'll go with that.
Yeah, that's the title in the video. There. At least, look, at worst, it's clickbait.
This is all getting cut, right?
No.
What? The only thing we'll cut out is swear words and maybe other stuff too.
We'll see.
Yeah.
See how I feel
anyway,
at the time.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Right.
We've bored people enough for now.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. Right. So we'll be back after. I think we're at a new time slot next week. So.
Hopefully it'll be out earlier in the week, so you have more time to watch it, I suppose. So look out for us on
Sunday
Monday.
or Monday, probably.
Monday, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, beginning of next week.
So yeah. Thanks for watching again.
Yeah, subscribe.
More comments. We like that. We like more views as well, but
Tell your friends. Buy followers.
Buy Kinniger. Support Kinniger. More Big Bunny. I do like Big Bunny. Thanks, Kinniger.
Leave it there.
Thank you. Good luck. Bye bye.